Hello there, everybody. Hopefully, some of you will join us on this. If not, welcome to the VOD. Today, we are doing something very interesting, something I've never done before. Oops, let's get those out of the way. We are going to be unboxing a full set of draft boosters of Magic the Gathering Strixhaven School of Mages. This is the Magic the Gathering set that just came out 2 days ago on Friday, April 23rd. It's now Sunday, April 25th. I managed to pick these up from a game store in Indianapolis on yesterday. And a little bit story behind this. I pre-ordered this. If you pre-order from a game store for Magic the Gathering sets, be very clear what you want, because I was wanting a set of standard boosters. Didn't mention that, just said I wanted a booster box, and they gave me a set of draft boosters. That's okay, it'll work fine. It's a whole bunch of Strixhaven cards that we are going to be taking a look at today. Just take a look at this box. It's still in its packaging. Let's see, right here. So there are 5 schools, magic schools, in Strixhaven. There's Silverquill, Prismari, Witherbloom, Lorehold, and Quandrix. Now, obviously, these are 2-color combination decks that normally in Magic have totally different names. But for here, they're going to, set up a little differently. So draft booster, normally, you get your deck, and it would be, alright, we're going to use this for draft or sealed games. In our case, we're just unboxing this. We want to see what cards we've got in here. Now, where is it? Does it say... right. This display box contains 36 draft boosters. So there are 36 packs in here. Now, I will tell you, I have bought a couple booster packs from this just 2, and I've also bought a commander deck, Strixhaven. This is the Witherbloom commander deck, and it's pretty darn cool. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. A few things I want to show off before we do the unboxing itself. I'm just going to show you 2 cards that I got in the boosters. They're not new cards, they are reprints. One is Cultivate. Cultivate is a 2+ green sorcery card that says search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put one onto the battlefield tapped, and the other into your hand, then shuffle. So, if you're playing a green deck, you want to get your lands out, especially if it's a landfall deck, Cultivate is great. I have a landfall commander deck that I have built that is already got Cultivate in it from previous set, probably Zendikar Rising. But what I really like is this art style on some of these cards is just fantastic. Like, this Cultivate is great. Other card from Strixhaven that I wanted to already pull out was the alternate art for this beauty, Counterspell. It's back. Counterspell was a card that came out in previous editions. 2 blues for an instant, says counter target spell. Any spell. Creature, non-creature. I guess land as well. I mean, it's an all-around just boom, counter it. At instant speed for a low mana cost. It's a great card. But again, this art, it's really cool. The last card I want to show you before we start the unboxing itself is the promotional card that came with buying an entire box. And that is this, the Dragon's Guard Elite foil card. 1 and a green. It's a human druid creature. It has Magecraft that says, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Dragon's Guard Elite. anytime you cast an instant sorcery spell, anytime you copy an instant or sorcery spell, which is something that is definitely, you know, a major thing in this set is copying spells. +1/+1 counter. Not bad. You can also play 4 and 2 green, and you can double the number of +1/+1 counters on Dragon Guard Elite. So you pump him up, and then you pay this mana cost later, and boom, he's a big beefy boy. It's a 2/2 to start with, so 2/2 for 2. That's pretty normal, but with the Magecraft, with this pumping in the right deck, it could work really, really well. Now, let's get on to the main event, which is our unboxing. Now, you gotta be very careful with a knife. You know, don't want to hurt your deck, don't want to hurt your packs. This ain't the knife. So we want to be careful with the knife. This is the knife. A little overkill maybe, but we'll see. Maybe this will work out just nicely. Oops. Just do a little bit of cutting on that because I went right into my playmat. By the way, the playmat I am using under here, this is from Zendikar Rising. This is Obun. He is the commander in my Landfall Commander deck. It's all about getting lands out onto the field and playing cards that pump your creatures and do all sorts of fun stuff. So we've got the box now. You can see this art a little clearly. Got some red, blue. I believe this is Prismari. Yes, Prismari. So you got some red, blue casters. Got some little Prismari action. And we are just chock full of packs. Let's just dump all these packs out of the box. We use this box to gather up our trash. All sorts of packs. Get this into screen. There we go. All sorts of booster packs. Now each booster pack comes with 15 cards. That's a lot of packs to unbox. So we are going to take this pack at a time. I will quickly kind of show some of the stuff that's in it. I will focus on interesting cards. Obviously, if there's lands, like basic lands, I'll just like, okay, got a basic land. I'm going to have a heck of a time organizing all these cards after the stream. I gotta find a place to put my phone. I am expecting a call, so if I do get the phone call, we will be pausing the stream. But we'll be back once the phone call's over. Alright, pack number 1. So let's see. What do we got? Trash that. Alright, first off, treasure card. Your basic token artifact treasure. Sacrifice this artifact to add 1 mana of any color. I like to pull the very back card off first just because it's usually a token card. Oh, I just realized I don't know where I'm going to put any of this stuff. Let's see. I've got a bunch of decks sitting right here. I need to just set these down. Give me some room. Bunch of old standard decks that really only work in Historic right now. I'm in the process of refiling all of those cards. Alright. So, let's go ahead and bring this guy out so you can easily see what I got here. So this, Rise of Extus, sorcery card. Actually, let's do this first. Let's just start spreading these out. Alright, so first, what is this, 10 cards of the 15 cards here. We have got a land, black-white land. That's nice. You can pay 4 extra and tap it to scry one. That's a little expensive for a scry. Let's see. Instant here. First day of class. If you've already put down a creature card, play this instant. +1/+1 counter. Gives it haste until the end of turn. It also has learn, which I think is a new mechanic in this version, or in this set. So you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card to draw a card. I guess I don't really know what the lesson card is. I guess we'll see what that means. There are a lot of sorcery cards in this set from what I've seen. Just a little on the annoying side. My Witherbloom deck had a lot of sorcery and not a lot of instants. But sorcery cards here we've got for 3 and a blue, Serpentine Curve, creating a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters, where X is 1 plus the total of number of instants or sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. So it's a way to pump your creatures if you've already been playing a bunch of instant or sorcery cards, which it's a School of Magic game type of thing. There's going to be a lot of instant and sorcery cards being used. Let's see, over here, down here, 5 colorless, Introduction to Annihilation, exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. So a little card removal here. Then Rise of Exus, the first one we pulled out of this deck. 4 and hybrid white-black, two white blacks. Exile target creature, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. And learn. So you can exile 2 cards with this. So for 6 mana, you can exile a creature and exile up to an instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. So if you know if they've got something that they might want to be pulling back out, graveyard recursion is very important. You can just get rid of that. Alright, then we have... Speaking of this, I will be pausing the stream. We will be back shortly. And... Hello. Hi.
Just returning your call.
Yeah, I realized we just talked to each other the other day, but I was like, well, I'll call you anyway.
Well, that's okay. We just had taken some
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. It's my first day kind of out of the house, other than one drive last week and it's my first day out of the house since the new cast.
Gotcha.
So,
How is the hard cast?
Pain in the ass.
Pain in the foot?
No, pain in the ass.
Literally, my ass hurts. My sciatic nerve all the way down that leg now.
That's not good.
Oh, those trash.
Nope. But here's what it is. 2 more weeks. Oh no, 12 days now from this cast. Then I'll take it off and see if I'm ready for that walking boot cast.
How long?
I have 12 more days of this cast. Then they'll take it off and see if my foot's ready enough to go into the walking boot cast. And I don't know how long. I'd be doing that anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks.
So good.
Fun.
So, but I'm trying to remain positive. It's not easy, but I'm trying. And hopefully, the good news is it'll all be off by the time we go to...
Does that go down to
I don't know, Dave.
Miami? Well, I don't know. Because you lived around here.
What do you mean I lived around here? Oh, I think so, but if not, we'll find out. Anyway, my legs swelling up. I can feel it inside the cast because we were at their house with my leg hanging down way too long.
One doesn't know how what.
Anyway, we're trying to get back to I go the other way anyway, so I'm not paying attention to this day. This is not the way I would go home. Anyway, we're trying to go home from their house. Your dad doesn't know how to drive, so. We're on 31.
And we are back. Sorry about that, guys. Had a phone call from my parents that I've been waiting on, which of course got interrupted because... Oops. Let me see. Make sure that's... Alright. Yeah. Gonna end up having to take another phone call later because parents couldn't get service. Driving back, driving to the boonies, whatnot. Anyways, we are back looking at these cards. So we're looking at some creature cards here. Some fairly simple ones. You've got Unwilling Ingredient here for 1 mana, 1 black, 1/1, but with Menace. So you can get this thing out on turn 1. Attack with it turn 2. Can't be blocked except for 2 or more creatures. But it's also got a thing that once it dies, you can pay 2 and a black. You can exile it, and you would then draw a card and lose 1 life. So it's a creature with Menace. It's cheap, but it's also card draw. Professor of Zoomancy is nothing big. Once he enters the battlefield, it creates +1/+1 black and green pest creature. And then when that token dies, you gain a life. Pests are a new token creature that's pretty prevalent in this set. Let's see, moving on. Spiteful Squad, a 2 white and black 0/0, but with Death Touch. Says when Spiteful Squad enters battlefield, it enters with 2 +1/+1 counters, so it's actually +2/+2. And then when it dies, you then put those counters onto one creature, or onto a target creature you control. So those +2/+2 transfer when it dies, but it's nice, it's got Death Touch. So 2/2 for 3, but with Death Touch and a nice little addition there. And then we've got Star Pupil, Human Wizard, +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies, you also get to transfer your counters to a target creature you control. So transferring of some pump spells is kind of interesting. I kind of like it. Alright, this should be the last 5 cards of this pack. We haven't even got through the first pack yet here. Alright, so we've looked at the treasure card. Humiliate. This is an uncommon sorcery card, white and black. Target opponent reveals their hand. Ouch, that hurts. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. You put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. That's pretty nice. If you're running a white-black deck, which in this case would be Silver Quill, which is all full of tricksy things, that's pretty nice. Multiple choice, rare card, sorcery, a X and a blue. If X is 1, scry 1, then draw a card. Not bad. If X is 2, you may choose a player. They return a creature they control to its owner's hand. If X is 3, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. And if X is 4 or more, do all of the above. So that's a pretty nice little sorcery card. There's Access Tunnel, which is a land. Tap it to add colorless mana. You can pay 3 and tap it, and target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. That is an uncommon. Uncommon creature, Stormkiln Artist. The Stormkiln Artist gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control and has Magecraft. So whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you create a treasure token. So for 4 mana, 2/2, if you're running an artifact deck, it can be pretty darn nasty. You can beef them up pretty quickly. And then we have an uncommon sorcery card, but it's in this really cool art style again. This is Claim the Firstborn. Gain control of target creature with mana value 3 or less until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. So you are stealing a creature that's 3 or less. And you get it till the end of turn. You untap it. It gains haste. You can immediately attack with it. So, nothing huge in this deck. Nice They're calling back again, so we'll be back again. Hello.
I will try.
And we're back. Sorry about that. The possible one person watching this right now. Might be able to edit this for the VOD. I don't know. Maybe I just don't care enough. We've opened one of 36 packs, so let's go right into the next one. Here we go. Opening the sucker up. The nice thing about Magic decks is that the packs open fairly easily. Alright. Just the blank one, so you can use this card to represent a double face card. Cool. Alright. So let's see what we got here. We have got a Clockwork Archivist. This is a 6 colorless artifact creature with reach. And for 2 and a tap, you can put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. So a little bit of graveyard recursion. Let's see. Let's just pump these guys out real quick. So if you guys have been playing with Strixhaven at all in the last couple of days, or really looking at it, building your decks up, what do you guys think about it? I think it's a tricksy deck, but you know that commander deck that I got, even without tweaking it yet, is pretty nice. All right, so just going in order, we have got Thrilling Discovery. It is a red-white sorcery. You gain 2 life. You may discard 2. Then you may discard 2 cards. That's an important word there. May. If you do, draw 3 cards. So if you got 2 cards that are completely useless in your hands, get rid of them, draw 3 fresh cards. Then we've got Archway Commons. This is a land. It comes into the battlefield tapped. And when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1 mana. And then it allows you to add 1 mana of any color. So it's nice in that it allows you to use mana of any color and not a colorless mana. But the fact that you have to pay a mana to play this land, so you have to play a land to place a land, and it comes in the battlefield tapped on top of that. I don't see myself using this one very often. Then we've got Guiding Voice. This is a sorcery for 1 white. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and then learn. Then we have Creature Jin, a waterfall aerialist, 3 and a blue. It's a 3/1, and it's got flying, which is nice, and it has ward for 2. It says whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 2. So it's got its own built-in counter spell for a cost. Now, I don't know if that means you have to pay 2 to activate it. I would have to look that up. I haven't seen Ward before. Here we've got Tome Shredder. This is a 2 and a red creature wolf. It's got haste. You can tap it and exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. When you do this, put a +1/+1 counter on Tome Shredder. So you can tap it, exile cards to pump him, but he's already hasty. Here you got Bayou Groff. This is a 1 and a green plant dog creature. It's an interesting combination. I guess that's a doggy looking thing. It looks kind of like a bear. It says as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 3 mana. It is a 5/4 for 2. Whew. That's a beefy card for such a cheap cost. I mean, I might just sacrifice a creature. I mean, especially if you're putting pest out there, it does not say it's a non-token creature. I can sacrifice a 1/1 token. I'm fine with that. Alright, right down here we have Professor's Warning. This is a 1 black instant. It says choose 1, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. For 1, that's pretty darn nice. That could work well in my Witherbloom, actually. Because I think I need to keep my commander as indestructible as possible. Alright, then we have the Combat Professor, 3 and a white for a bird cleric creature who has flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance until end of turn. It's that vigilance that's the important part there, really. Because it also doesn't have to be the Combat Professor. And he doesn't even have to attack. You just have to have him there. And you can pump a creature and give it vigilance. Then lastly up here we have got Academic Probation. This is a 1 and a white sorcery. It says choose one. Choose a non-land card name. Opponents can't cast spells with the chosen name until your next turn. Ooh. Interesting. I don't know about that one. Or you can choose target non-land permanent. Until your next turn, it can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. That's a much better option, in my opinion. So let me clear these 10 off and put the last ones from this pack on here. Here's an ugly little monster. I think I have heard of that, what was it, Chaotic Professor? I think they mentioned that on Command Zone. So, I Twitch. This is costs a black. It is a 1/1 creature with flying, and it says when I Twitch dies, learn. Okay, it's a 1/1 flyer. That's what I care about in this case. Then you have Quandrix Apprentice. This is a green and a blue creature, human wizard. It has Magecraft. And it says, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them and put that card into your hand. Not onto the battlefield, into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So, it's making sure you got your land draw, I guess. Meh. It's 2/2 for 2. But that is whenever you cast. So, you're not putting them in your graveyard. You're not exiling those other cards. It's whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell or copy it, you can make sure you have infinite. It's an infinite mana. What card is really what it is. Right here we've got the Ardent Dust Speaker. This is a 4 and a red. It's a 5 mana card. 3/4 Minotaur Shaman. It says whenever Ardent Dust Speaker attacks, you may put an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. If you do, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. That one hurts my brain. So you're doing some graveyard recursion, but it's going to the bottom of your library. Then the top 2 cards on the top of your library get exiled. You can play them this turn, but only if you can afford them as well. And who knows, they might be crap. And if you've already played a land and it's a land, you can't play that land, I don't think. And it's not like you're paying them without having to pay them. You're playing them without having to pay the mana cost. I don't know. All right, rare card time. This is the Strict Proctor. This is a 1 and a white spirit cleric creature. It's a 1/3. It has flying. Lots of little flyers in here. It says whenever a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability to trigger, counter that ability unless its controller pays 2. So, yeah, it's not a great card. Yeah, it's just not. Last card from this pack is Adventurous Impulse. This is a green, so single green mana sorcery card. It says look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Yeah, I love this card. This card is great. I kind of want to stick this into my landfall deck. Because, one, it gives me that land recursion, but it also gives me the ability to get good creatures into my hand if I need it. You have to reveal it, though. If it was it would be better if you were putting it onto the battlefield. All right. 2 down, 34 to go. I haven't gotten any legendary creatures so far, which kind of bums me out. One thing I'm really hoping for, if I can get this deck back open, I'm really hoping to see an Elder Dragon. There are some brand new Elder Dragons in this thing. It's real nice. All right, here is the Pest card. This is a 1/1 token creature. It's a pest. It says when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. So Pest, as I said, this is a recurring theme throughout this deck of this being like the token for Strixhaven. There's at least one other that I'm blanking on the name of, but I'm sure it will come up in one of these packs. That's way better than a Pest, but the Pest is giving you life gain. That can, like the Witherbloom precon is life gain and life lost sort of a deck. Alright, let's see what we got here. We've got land. I have not gotten... I was about to say I've not gotten any repeats, except I do have one in here that I've gotten in a different deck. Actually, 2. So, let's see. For lands in here, we have got the Quadrix Campus. This is a green-blue. So, it enters the battlefield, tap it for a green or blue. Again, pay 4, tap it, scry 1. That's kind of been a common theme here. We've got Teach by Example. This one I already have. This is for 2 hybrid blue-reds. It says this is an instant. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it costs 2 mana, and it is a instant copying spell. So you have to play this first. So you would play this in one right after the other. You would copy whatever the next spell is. They don't know what your opponents don't know what your next spell is. Boom, you play that. You basically get that spell twice. The Silver Quill Pledge Mage. This is a 1 and 2 black white hybrid. Vampire Cleric creature. It's a 3/1. Has Magecraft. Says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Silver Quill Pledge Mage gains your choice of flying or lifelink until end of turn. That's fairly good. I mean, it's not the greatest card, but it's fine. It's common. Then we have instant big play, 1 and a green. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains reach until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. So it gets +2/+2 that turn. So great if you're like, you got flyers coming in, you got no one with reach, no flyers of your own. Boom. You put this down on one of your creatures. It's able to get +2/+2, get in there to block. And then after this round, as long as the creature's still alive, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it permanently. Then we've got the Novice Dissector, 3 and a black. This is a Troll Warlock creature. It is a 3/3. So 3/3 for 4. Numbers are hard. So are words. It says, pay 1, sacrifice another creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. That activated ability or trick, that sucks. 1, you're paying mana. 2, you're sacrificing another creature you control. You get to put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. And you can only do this at sorcery speed. Bleh. That's not good. That's a lot of downside. And it's a 3/3 for 4. Whatever. You're not going in my deck. Right, down here we've got Pilgrim of the Ages. This is a 2/1 spirit creature for 2 and a white. It says when Pilgrim of the Ages enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic Plains card. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Shuffling that deck up. So it's automatically, it enters the battlefield, land draw into your hand. You can also pay 6 and return Pilgrim of Ages from your graveyard to your hand. So you can recur it from your graveyard. It's an expensive recurral because you then have to, again, pay the 3 mana to play it. Next up, instant card, Pop Quiz. 2 and a blue. It says draw a card and then learn. So 3 mana to draw a card for 1 card draw plus learn. I still don't understand this whole learn mechanic. I'm sure there's somewhere I can learn about learn. I don't know why I looked at my mic when I did that. Not a person. Alright, here we have the Twin Scroll Shaman. This is a dwarf shaman creature. It's a 1/2 for 2 and a red with double strike. Simple little card. 3 mana, 1/2, double strike. If you can pump him, super awesome. By himself, he's a poker. He's gonna poke you. Alright. Here we have got Environmental Sciences, 2 colorless mana. This is a sorcery. And this is a lesson. So there was something in here about lesson cards. So, say with Pop Quiz, you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside of the game and put it into your hand or discard a card to draw a card. So this sorcery card being a lesson card, if this is not in my deck, which I don't know how that works with Commander. I can understand. Yeah, I don't know how this works with Commander. That'd be interesting. But what the card says, it says, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. You gain 2 life. So it's a nice card. 2 mana, 2 colorless mana, so whatever mana you want to play. You got Soul Ring, boom, just tap Soul Ring, play it. Put a basic land card into your hand, shuffle your deck, you gain 2 life. So it doesn't have to come from outside the game. This can be in your deck, no problem. But with these these learn abilities all over the place, it doesn't have to be in your deck. Interesting. All right, last card up here, Practical Research. This is a 3 blue and a red instant card. It says draw 4 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery card. So you're going to have to discard at least 1 card, but it does not say from those 4 cards. So you are drawing 4 cards, putting them into your hand. If you discard 1 card, instant or sorcery card, you keep everything. So from your hand, you would normally discard 2 cards. So little card, it's some good card draw, but for 5, that's a lot of mana for 3 cards basically. All right, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of this pack. Last 5. First enchantment I think that we've seen. Ooh, pretty cards. Alright, so Detention Vortex, 1 white. This is an enchantment aura. It says enchant non-land permanent. Enchanted permanent cannot attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. And you can pay 3 to destroy Detention Vortex. Only your opponents may activate this ability, and only as a sorcery. So it's a lot like Pacify, but your opponents can just pay to get rid of it. I don't know. Okay. It's like Pacify, but it takes the activated abilities away as well. So it's going to last a little bit, but not much. Alright. So these are all uncommons and rares, by the way, that I'm showing right now. So, Brackish Trudge. This is a fungus beast creature. It's a 4/2 for 2 and a black. It says, Brackish Trudge enters the battlefield tapped. Why? It's a creature. Well, you can't block with it, I guess. You can also pay 1 and a black to return Brackish Trudge from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only if you gained life this turn. It's a 4/2 for 3 that can't block when it comes out. And you can bring it back. Yeah, not a great card. Right, Sorcery. This is a rare card. This is Fervent Mastery. 3 and 2 reds. So it's another 5 mana card. You may pay 2 and 2 reds rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If the 2 and 2 reds cost was paid, an opponent discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards. Search your library for up to 3 cards, put them into your hand, shuffle, then discard 3 cards at random. Ugh, this card is a mess. You know, I'm gonna have to do something here. I'm bringing this bad boy back out here. We need to see this close up. Okay, first off, cool art, but it's a magic card, so that's, you know, normal. Alright, so it costs 5 mana. Normally 5 mana. 3 of whatever color or colorless, plus 2 red. Now, you can choose to pay 1 colorless or random mana less. So you can pay 4 instead of 5. If you do, your opponent can choose to discard any number of cards. They can discard their entire hand, or they can discard 1. And they're going to draw however many cards they discarded. So they could basically do a reset if they want. Which is, in my opinion, more beneficial to your opponent than it is to you. Then what the card does for you is search your library for up to 3 cards. So you get to choose what 3 cards you want. You're searching for them. You then put them into your hand. You shuffle your deck. And then you discard 3 cards at random from your hand. So let's say you want to get your 3 really good cards out there that's really going to help you. Put them into your hand. And then at random you are going to discard 3 cards from your hand, which could be 1 or more of those cards you just drew. This is a gambling card. It's an expensive gambling card. I would not be feeling chill with that card. Alright. Pretty cards time. Infuriate. This costs a red. This is an instant. It says target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. It is a short-term pumping card, but oh, it's so beautiful looking. That is just gorgeous. I love this art style. And then you get Divine Gambit. This is 2 white sorcery card. Exile target creature, or exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment an opponent controls. That player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. This again is a little bit of a gamble. Why it's a Divine Gambit, probably. So you could say, oof, I don't like the look of this. You know, this artifact has been beating us down, or this creature is going to be just nasty. Exile it. They exile it. Then they go, okay, here's an Eldrazi. Boom. Or, you know, any sort of card. Any permanent card. You know, and they don't have to pay the cost for it. They just take it from their hand and put it onto the battlefield for free. That's dangerous. I mean, you got to be lucky. I mean, yeah, it's a card game. Alright. Hey, this one opens up a whole lot easier. By the way, this is the back of like that token or whatever that card's going to be on the bottom. Silver Quill Debate Duelists. Each of those have this fun little thing on the back. Alright, so it is a spirit token. 3/2. That's a pretty powerful spirit. Pretty nice, powerful token. Alright. I'm kind of waiting to get a repeat of something we've already shown, because I can just skip it. Hey, got one. Alright, so these are... Hey, I just realized this. 10 commons. And then we get into the meatier ones. Alright, so Professor of Zoomancy, we've already seen, so we're not going to talk about him. We're going to start here. Needlethorn Drake. This is a Drake creature. This is a 1/1 for a green and a blue. It's got flying and death touch. 2 mana. As long as if you get a green-blue deck and you're putting out each of those mana, turn 1, turn 2. That means turn 2 you can get this flying creature in there. It's got death touch. Sure, it's a 1/1. You could have spells to pump it, I guess. Depends on your deck. Alright. Lorehold Pledge Mage. This is a 2/2 core shaman creature for 1 and then 2 red-white hybrid. It has first strike. It also has Magecraft, so whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you get +1/+0 until end of turn on this creature. So, little instant pump, as long as you're doing it before the attack phase. Well, till the end of turn. Is that your turn? Is that end of round? I'm not sure. Alright, Square Up. This is an interesting looking card. This is an instant for 1 and a green-blue hybrid mana. It says target creature has base power and toughness for 4 until end of turn. So this could be interesting. So it's 2 mana. So let's say you play the Needlethorn Drake on turn 2. Well, on turn 3, you can play Square Up, because it can now attack. It's now a 4/4 instead of a 1/1. With flying and death touch. Makes him a little more valuable. Guiding Voice. This is a sorcery card for 1 white mana. It says put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and learn. So again, we have to learn. Got a lot of learn going on here. Here, Arcane Subtraction. This is a 1 and a blue mana instant. Target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn and learn. I'm actually digging this learn thing. I don't know if it works in Commander, but if it does, that is game changing. That could absolutely. Granted, we've only seen one lesson card. Nope. Here's a second one. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah. Instant, you're getting attacked by something, -4. Oh, now your power is lower than my creature's power. It's a normal kind of instant one. Alright, Blood Age General. This is a 2/2 Spirit Warrior creature that costs 1 and a red. And it says you can tap this, and attacking spirits get +1/+0 until end of turn. So that nice little 3/2 spirit creature we got, which does not have flying, shockingly, would become a 4/2 if you tapped them instead of attacking. He's only a 2/2, so might make more sense. Right, Professor's Warning, instant for 1 black. I think we might have seen this one as well. A +1/+1 counter on target creature, or gains indestructible until end of turn. I think we did see that one. That indestructible. Chef's kiss. Pillar Drop Rescuer. This is a spirit cleric creature for 4 and a white. It's a 2/2. It's got flying. It says when Pillar Drop Rescuer enters the battlefield, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So a little card recursion from graveyard recursion. Not bad, not bad. You know, it's just for entering the battlefield too. And it's a flyer. 2/2 for 5. I mean, you're not pulling this card out for the attacking power. That's for sure. Alright, so here's our lesson card, our sorcery lesson. Pest Summoning. 1 and 2 black-green hybrids. And it says create 2 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. So it's a sorcerer card that's giving you 2 pest tokens. And it's a lesson, so technically you could have it from outside of the game. Boom. Pretty nice. Those pests gonna be putting in work. I'm surprised I've not, and I can't believe I'm blanking on the name of this other token. We haven't seen it at all. Alright, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this pack. Our uncommons, and I'm going to put that rare last. Pretty cards. Alright. Sorcery, Mentor's Guidance. 2 and a blue. When you cast this spell, copy it. Copy it if you control a Planeswalker, Cleric, Druid, Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard. So you get to do it twice. So scry 1, then draw a card. So you could scry 2, draw 2 cards if you've got the other cards on the battlefield already. Then you've got Rutha, Mercurial Artist. It's finally a legendary creature, Orc Shaman. It's a 1/4 for 1, a blue, and a red. It says you can pay 2. Return Rutha, Mercurial Artist to its owner's hand. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So this is an automatic, basically. You pay 2. You have it out on the battlefield. You pay 2. You get it back in your hand. It's safe. And you copy an instant or sorcery spell you control. It does not say that has been played. So you could then play a card, copy that thing, go off. I can think of some cards where that would be pretty darn nice. I don't know about what it would be like in Prismari, but we'll see. Alright. Thunderous Orator. 1 and a white. This is a core wizard creature, so hey, guess what? It works really well with Mentor's Guidance. It is a 2/2 that has Vigilance, and it says whenever a Thunderous Orator attacks, it gains flying until end of turn. If you control a creature with flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, and Trample. Oh my gosh. If you've got a big board presence, you've got this 2/2. It's already got Vigilance automatically. You got a flyer. You could have a flyer. You could have somebody that's got Indestructible, one with Lifelink, one with however many creatures you've got with these abilities, it gets for that turn. Every time it attacks. That could be real nice. So there was that card we saw that was a weak little double striker. But he's got Vigilance and he's double striking. That's pretty nasty. Alright. I'm going to do this, actually. We need to switch this up. Rare card, the Biblioplex. This is a land, so it's a rare land. Tap it for a colorless mana. Or pay 2 and tap it. Look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Activate only if you have exactly 0 or 7 cards in hand. Oof. So full deck or top decking. I guess the colorless mana it's giving you value every turn, but it's also kind of a get out of jail free card. Like you got your top decking, all right. Guess what? You can draw and get that extra little bit of help. All right, I moved this over here. It's a cool looking card. Mizzix Masteries, 3 and a red. This is a mythic card. It's a sorcery. It says exile target card that's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Then exile Mizzix's Mastery. Trying to understand this card. So it says exile target card, singular, that's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile Mizzix's Mastery. And it doesn't say you may exile any number of target cards. Part of me wonders if it just means, you play this, pay the 4 mana, and you can do this however many times you can do that in a round. You can do this, but it does have an overload for 5. It's an expensive overload. 5 and 3 red. You may cast a spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. Oh, wow. That's huge. That is huge. That makes, for an 8 mana spell, basically every instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gets exiled, but you also get to instantly cast it right then and there without paying its mana cost. Now the question is, if you are not, well, no, you would have to be. You're in the sorcery, you're in main phase. You are casting a sorcery here. So any sorcery card that you do this to would, boom, instantly come out. You got 8 mana to spend. This is a monster card. This is a game winner. This is a win condition card right here. I like it. I like it a lot. I wonder if that's a reprint or not. I've never heard of that card even. Alright. I don't even know what deck number we're on or what pack number. We'll see. I like how this stream has been going for an hour and a half, but really it's not been going nearly that long. Alright. Token, we get a 4/4 elemental creature. Ooh, pretty. It's like a elemental unicorn or antelope or something like that. Alright. Pull out our commons. That's clever. You see that 4th card, that land. There's a common land that says Archway Commons. It's a common that's commons. It's commons that's common. Alright. So, let's see. We have got Spectacle Mage. 1, a blue and a red. Bird Shaman creature. It's a 2/2. It's got flying. It says instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana cost value 5 or greater cost 1 less. 1 less to cast. So, oddly enough, not a card I would be playing early game at all. I mean, it's a 3 mana card, so it's not really early game. But when you're ready to start throwing down things, that's when you want it. Right, the Cogwork Archivist, 6 colorless. It's got reach. It's a creature, artifact creature, construct. 4/5. It's got reach. You pay 2 and tap it. It says put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I guess that's helpful especially when you shuffle, because then it could end up wherever. Right. Thrilling Discovery. I think we've seen this one, maybe. It's red and white, sorcery, gain 2 life. You may discard 2 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. Right. Archway Commons, land, enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1 mana. Yeah, we've seen this one. It sucks. I don't like it. Arcane Subtraction. It's an instant for 1 and a blue. Target creature gets -4/0 until end of turn and learn. So yeah, I think that's another. I think we're starting to get some repeats already. All right. Enthusiastic Study. This is 2 and a red instant. Target creature gets +3/+1 and gains trample until end of turn and learn. I'm digging this learn. I just want to see more lesson cards. We got one here. All right. The Reckless Amplimancer. That's a fun word. 1 and a green elf druid. It's a 2/2. So 2/2 for 2. You can pay 4 and a green, so paying 5 mana. And its power, so double Reckless Amplimancer's power and toughness until end of turn. So if you get counters on him, you pay 5 mana, and he's a beefy, beefy boy. You've got now Mage Hunter's Onslaught. This is a 2 and 2 black sorcery card. It says destroy target creature or planeswalker. So some card removal, creature removal. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses 1 life. So chipping away, removing creatures. I can dig that. Study Break. Instant card, 1 and a white. Tap up to 2 target creatures and learn. I really am digging that. I like tapping creatures down. Let me get in there for some damage. That's a good card to play when you're ready to swing for the fences. And then we got our sorcery lesson card, Introduction to Annihilation, 5 colorless mana. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. I don't like to give my opponents cards, but you're exiling a non-land permanent. It ain't coming back. In like 99% of the cases, it's not coming back, I should say. Alright, we got our uncommons and rares, or even better sometimes. Uncommons and rares. Right, we have the Witherbloom Apprentice. This is a 2/2 human druid creature for black and a green with Magecraft. Says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I would not be surprised if it's probably in my Witherbloom precon, because that's exactly what that precon wants to do. Then you have Igneous Inspiration for 2 and a red. This is a sorcery card. It says Igneous Inspiration deals 3 damage to any target and learn. So just hitting them. Just blowing things up. You're red. Alright. Sorcery. Deadly Brew. Black and a green. Each player, including yourself that means, sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If you sacrifice a permanent this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Now it says, if you. See, the wording in Magic cards is super important, because it's the difference between just you returning a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, or everyone returning a permanent card from their graveyard to their hand. So I think it just means if you did it, because, I mean, you could play this card with no creatures on deck, no creatures on the battlefield, and they all just have to sacrifice a creature, which can be helpful. But I think it means if you also sacrifice a creature card, you get to return a permanent from your... so it's got to be a permanent card. So it can't be a token either. Alright. Agonizing Remorse. Cool art. 1 and a black sorcery card. It says target opponent reveals their hand. Ugh, gross. You choose a non-land card from it or a card from their graveyard. Exile that card, you lose 1 life. That's worth a life. 2 mana. Show me what you got. I'm taking something from either from your hand or from your graveyard that you're going to want. I'm exiling it. I will pay that 1 life gladly. Especially in Commander, where you've got a lot more life. Then we've got our rare card. It's another legendary creature. It's a bird cleric. It's a 1/1 for 1 and a white. Shale, Dean of Radiance. It's got flying and vigilance. And it says tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. So not bad. I mean, it is putting +1/+1 counters on. You know, you could tap them each turn, Never, I mean, he's a 1/1. Unless they have no way to block flyers, there's not really that much need to. I mean, he's much more valuable pumping your every creature that comes in. You can only pump each creature once, but you know, it's constant. It's constant, you know, power. Unlimited power, except quite limited. Still have not gotten an Elder Dragon. Only gotten 2 legendary creatures, in fact. Alright. Luca, Wayward Bonder. It's an emblem. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. I have no clue what an emblem card is. That's new to me. Alright, let's get these commons on the board. First with a land. I'm glad they put a land on top this time. Usually it's like card 4. Alright, there's our commons. So we've got Prismari Campus. Just like with the other campuses, this is red and blue. Not going to go over that again. Quandrix Pledge Mage. Merfolk Druid creature, 1 and 2 green-blue hybrids for 2/2. It's got Magecraft, copy, insert cop. Whenever you cast or copy an insert sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Quandrix Pledge Mage. So every time you cast your spells, you're just pumping this thing up. Make Your Mark. It's either a red or white. It's a red-white hybrid. Instant card says target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. It's a trade card, I guess. It's whatever. It's an instant though, so that's important. So if you know you're going up against something, you might have a chance to kill it. If you just have +1 more, even if you're trading it, and trading is actually the best option in this case. Because you get a 3/2 spirit creature. Because you lose it, but then you don't lose everything. Alright, Spined Karok. This is a 2/4 crocodile for 2 and a green. And it's got flavor text. It's a 2/4, 3 mana crocodile. Whatever. The Promising Dusk Mage. It's a 2/3 human warlock for 2 and a black. It says when Promising Dusk Mage dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, draw a card. Now, I was originally just going to read the interesting cards, but since I haven't seen like any of these cards that are all new, I'm reading all of them. Expel. 2 and a white instant. Exile target tapped creature. Get out of here. This is nice because it's not a counter spell. It's creature removal, and it's tapped target. It's tapped creature removal. So you've got a lot of these creatures that tap and do interesting things, as opposed to attack. You just let them do their thing and then get out of here. This is not a card you play on your turn. All right. Burrig Befuddler. Burrog, 1 and a blue. Frog Wizard creature. It's a 2/1. It's got Flash. When Burrog Befuddler enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/0 until end of turn. Yeah, okay. I got nothing on that one. Fuming Effigy, 3 and a red, spirit creature. It's 4/3, so it's a beefy boy. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, Fuming Effigy deals 1 damage to each opponent. So all of these cards are like, take it from the graveyard to the bottom of your hand. Boom, 1 damage. 1 damage, 1 damage. So always chip. He can always chip at you this way, but he can also, he's a 4/3. You can make him even bigger. Cold beans. Then we got Tangle Trap. 1 and a green instant. Choose 1. Tangle Trap deals 5 damage to target creature with flying, because it looks like a giant Venus flytrap. Or destroy target artifact. Basically creature removal, flying creature removal. So remember, Not always the best. You know, if you get flyer decks, they can be nasty. Or artifact removal. Then we get our lesson card. I wonder if there's one lesson card per deck and I just haven't been paying attention. Expanded Anatomy. It's a sorcery card for 3 colorless. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains vigilance until end of turn. So you can imagine this thing becoming a 5 or a 6/5 just all of a sudden. Boop, 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 boop. And it's got vigilance. So it's swinging in there for 6. It could be pretty nice. I've got this fascination. Maybe it's because I like playing green. I like to pump my creatures up. Alright. Uncommons and rares. Bookworm. Right, Bookworm. It is a worm creature. 7/7 for 8. This is an expensive card, but he's a big boy. And he's got Trample. When Bookworm enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Already, this is worth the 8 mana. Especially because you only need 1 green. 7 can be from whatever. If you're playing a green deck, you're gonna have plenty of ramp to get you there. Oof. This is one you don't want your opponents to know you've got though. You can pay 2 and a green and put Bookworm from your graveyard into your library, 3rd from the top. Oh, that's major graveyard recursion. And hey, with the last guy we have, boop, 1 damage to them. We got Reconstruct History. It's a sorcery card for 2, a red and a white. It says return up to 1 target artifact card, up to 1 target enchantment card, up to 1 target instant card, up to 1 target sorcery card, and up to 1 target planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, then exile Reconstruct History. So, except for creature cards, you can basically get back 1 of every type of card out there from your graveyard. Again, the guy we just looked at. 1 damage for each one coming out of there. Liking it. Graveyard recursion. Graveyards are powerful. I never play. I don't even think about graveyards half the time, but gonna have to start, I think. Right. Academic Dispute. 1 red. That's it. Just a red. Instant card. Target creature blocks this turn if able. You may have it gain reach until end of turn, and then learn. So, yeah, I guess this is good. Okay, we got a flyer. We got to be able to block it. You're going to play because you're going to block anyway, so give something reach. Block it. Revitalize. Cool art. Again, 1 and a white. Instant card. You gain 3 life and draw a card. Hey, 2 mana. You're getting 3 life back. You're drawing a card. Boom. If Witherbloom had white, that would be a real nice card to have in there. Alright. Culmination of Studies. This is our rare card. X, a blue, and a red. Sorcery card. Exile the top X cards of your library. For each land exiled this way, create a treasure token. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card exiled this way, Culmination of Studies deals 1 damage to each card. Interesting. What if it's a red-blue card? Or blue-red? What is a Prismari card? Is that... does that count for both? Probably. I would say probably. And if it's a red-blue land, it counts for all 3. I mean, you gotta be careful. You're exiling those cards. I mean, they don't get to do what those cards are intended to do. But you get some mana, you know, temporary mana, like 1 shot, one go for most cases. You get to draw a card. You get to do some damage to the opponent. It's okay. It's definitely not the best rare I've seen. Not by a long shot. I've got all my packs in two stacks, and I've only been drawing from one, and it doesn't even. Looks like we're on 5 or 6, maybe. I don't feel like counting things. Alright. It's a double-faced thing. Alright. Needlethorn Drake, we've seen before. Lorehold Pledge Mage, we've seen before. Square Hub, we've seen before. This is a new card. New card. Ooh, I like that one. So we've got 3 repeats here. So don't need to worry about these guys. Curate. 1 and a blue instant. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. Draw a card. So you get to, you get to know what you're dealing with and kind of stack the deck a little bit. And then you draw one of those cards. Dragon's Approach. What a cool looking card. 2 and a red sorcery card. When Dragon's Approach, or no, not when. Dragon's Approach deals 3 damage to each opponent. You may exile Dragon's Approach and 4 cards named Dragon's Approach from your graveyard. If you... Jeez. Wait, what? You may exile Dragon's Approach and 4 cards named Dragon's Approach from your graveyard. If you do, search your library for a dragon creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. A deck can have any number of cards named Dragon's Approach. Okay. I was confused because of the card limits. But that also means you can do this in Commander if you get more of these. I'm looking at Commander because it's just more fun. More people, more fun. So, deals 3 damage to each opponent. And if you want, you may exile this and 4 other ones named this from your graveyard. So, you use this, put it in your graveyard 4 times. So, you're already dealing like 12 damage. And then on the 5th card, you get up to 15 points of damage. You exile it instead, and you exile all the rest, and then you search your library for a dragon creature card, put it on the battlefield. Not put it on the battlefield tapped, just put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle. Wow. That's actually pretty nasty. For 3 mana. But you gotta have the cards. You gotta remember that. Alright. Mage Duel. Sorcery card. 2 and a green. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you've cast another instant or sorcery spell this turn. So it could just cost you 1 green mana. Target creature you control gets +1/+2 until end of turn. Then it fights target creature you don't control. Each deals damage equal to its power to the other. So it's pumping it. It's definitely giving it more toughness, but it looks like it's also allowing it to fight twice, maybe? I don't know. Or, no, it probably just still gets to fight the one time, but it's fighting a creature, so you can get rid of somebody's creatures. Alright. Crushing Disappointment. No comment. 3 and a black, instant. Each player loses 2 life. You draw 2 cards. So, I don't know if drawing 2 cards is worth losing 2 life. Each player, including you, is going to lose 2 life. Then you draw 2 cards. Whatever. I don't know. Aegis Guardian, 1 and a white Spirit Soldier creature. 1/4. That's it. It's got some text. It's got some fancy text. But nothing to it. Spirit Summoning. 1. I think we've seen that. Yeah, we've seen this one already as well. Go Blank. This is a 2 and a black sorcery card. Target player discards 2 cards. Then exile all cards from that player's graveyard. Wow. Ooh, that's not a nice card. It's 3 mana, and you can exile their entire graveyard, and with as much graveyard recursion as is happening in this set... Ooh. Ooh. That's gross. You can just... And it's an instant speed, so you can just... Or no, it's sorcery speed. But you can say, hey, he put this card... Last turn, he put this card into his graveyard, and we don't want that thing coming back. Alright, let's go to our uncommons and our raries. Oh my. Alright. Uncommon. Sorcery. Mascot Interception. 3 and a red. This spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a creature token. So it could cost you just a red. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. This is dumb. Like, one, it's overcomplicated. It's an overcomplicated card. It's not a bad card. It's just overcomplicated. So, this costs 3 mana less. So it costs 1 red mana if it targets a creature token. Well, if it targets a creature token, never mind everything I said. It's just if it's a targeting creature token. So it'll still cost you 4 mana if it's a regular creature card. But if it's a token, it costs you 1 mana. That makes sense. It's a token. Honestly, if it's me, it's getting +2/+0. I'm throwing it. I want to kind of throw it at something I can just kill it with, like trade it out. Yeah, it's giving you +2/+0 and letting you attack with their creature. All right, Fracture, black and a white, instant card, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. So, a couple things it can't kill, but not much. It's only 2 mana. It's pretty nice. Alright, rare card. Dramatic Finale. This costs 4 hybrid white-black cards. It says, creature tokens you control get +1/+1. So, if you're running a token deck, this is your friend. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures you control die, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. That's the one I've been looking for, the Inkling. This is a new thing. It's a 2/1 flyer. If you listen to the Command Zone podcast or watch the Command Zone YouTube channel, they've been going over precons and stuff. They've been talking about the Inklings, and they're worth a normal creature card. It's a 2/1 flyer. It says this ability triggers only once each turn. So each turn, your tokens are getting +1/+1, and whenever one of your non-token creatures dies, you create a 2/1 token. So you can almost constantly, as long as you're playing regular creatures, you can also be pumping up your non-token or your token creatures. Right? Uncommon artifact card, Spell Satchel. It's a foil. It's all shiny and nice. You can even tell it's a foil to the camera. Let's get a little. There we go. There's the foiliness. This is 2 colorless mana. Magecraft. When you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a book counter on Spell Satchel. Then you can tap it, remove a book counter from Spell Satchel, add a colorless mana. Or you can pay 3 and tap it, remove 3 book counters from Spell Satchel, and draw a card. So every time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you're putting these book counters on here. You can either then use this for ramp, or use this for card draw. I like it. I like that a lot. Alright, our rare card for this pack, Sign in Blood. It's a sorcery card for 2 black mana. It says target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Again, this is draw 2 cards, lose 2 life sort of a thing. Sure. This is going to be a long stream, just so you all know. Which, streaming fine. Video is going to be, the VOD will be a fun little thing to see. When I get halfway through opening these packs, I'm probably going to take a break. That's not going to be for a while. Oh, I hate it when I get these. It's just, hey, welcome to Magic the Gathering Arena. It's free to play. You know, here's some information about it. You know, oh, guess what? You can play the game with cards or online. Guess what? All the cards you're buying can't be used. There needs to be something, because apparently I don't play Pokemon card game, but apparently you get, maybe it's with each pack, you get a code to use in their online game. Why doesn't Magic do this? They were doing codes with things like Planeswalker decks, things like that. Why can't you play Commander on Magic the Gathering Arena either? That's upsetting to me. Alright, let's lay down some cards here. Hey, remember how we wanted more Dragon's Approach? Got one. Got it. It's Stonebound Mentor, 1, a red and a white. Spirited Advisor creature, it's a 3/3. It says, whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, scry 1. Again, graveyard recursion. Right. Biblioplex Assistant. This is a gargoyle artifact creature. It's a 2/1 for 4 colorless mana. Ugh. It's got flying. It says when Biblioplex Assistant enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. So graveyard recursion of instant or sorcery spells. Flying. It's an inkling with graveyard recursion for instant or sorcery spells for 4 as opposed to like an activated ability. I don't know. Alright, the Relic Sloth. 3, a red and a white. It is a beast creature. It's 4/4, which is hilarious because it's a sloth. It's got Vigilance and it's got Menace. Okay, a 4/4 that's Vigilant and Menace, that's pretty nice, but it costs 5. But that's something, if you pump that thing up a little bit, it's no joke. Vigilance and Menace is nasty. Alright, Infused with Vitality. It's an instant card for a black and a green. It's a Witherbloom card. Until end of turn, target creature gains Death Touch, and when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. You gain 2 life. That's pretty nice. So, give it Death Touch. Throw it at something that you want to get, that you don't care if it dies. But also, it's not when it dies this turn, but when it dies at all. Returns to the battlefield tapped, he ain't dead. And you gain 2 life instantly. Curate we've seen, Dragon's Approach we've seen, we want more of these. Mage Duel, sorcery, 2 and a green. We've seen this as well. Essence Infusion, 1 and a black sorcery. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. That's pretty nice. Pillar Drop Rescuer we've seen. Fractal Summoning. So we're getting into the fractal stuff. Fractal's another tokeny thing going on here, but you can pay X and 2 blue-green hybrid. It's a lesson card, sorcery. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it. So you can make a super beefy fractal token. Yeah. So, cool. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's not that much to say about it. Oh, you won't like this next card. Okay, this is insane to me. Alright, so first off, Quintorius Field Historian. Legendary creature. It's an elephant cleric. He's an elephant man. He is a 2/4 for 3, a red and a white. So he's a 5 CMC 5 mana value legendary creature. It says spirits you control get +1/+0. And whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. So the only thing I don't like about that is that you could have 5 cards come out of your graveyard. You create 1 spirit creature token, not 1 for each card that comes out of there. That's the only kind of downside to that. So you want to get the spirits out. I don't know if it's worth that mana cost, but then we've got the Tenured Inkcaster. This is a 2/2 vampire warlock for 4 and a black. It says when Tenured Inkcaster enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever a creature you control with +1/+1 counter on it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So if you're in a deck that's thinking counters are important, especially because it's automatically putting on there, each time one of these these pumped creatures attacks, you're gaining a life, your opponents are losing a life. I can dig that. It's 5, it's expensive, but it's part of an engine. Alright, I don't know if I've had this one yet. Prismari Apprentice, it's red and blue and red. It's a human shaman creature, 2/2 for 2. It's got Magecraft, so the normal magey stuff things, but it says when you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, this Prismari Apprentice cannot be blocked this turn. If that spell has mana value 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Prismari Apprentice. That's pretty darn nice, actually. That's a cheap card, and it's just like, alright, let's play our spells. Attack, you can't block me. Now this blows my mind right here. This card right here. 1, beautiful art. Shock, 1 red mana. It deals 2 damage to any target. It's an uncommon card? Is it because of this art that it's uncommon, or what? Because, like, Shock may be one of the most common cards in this game, in Magic the Gathering. It's in, like, every set. I know, it's like, oh, you're right. You got Shock, probably. I don't know. Our rare card is a rare land, Hall of Oracles, so you can tap it for a mana, colorless mana. You can pay 1 and tap it, add 1 mana of any color. You can tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery, and only if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. You put this with either of these, and it's pretty nasty. That's yeah. That's that. I mean, my words just don't cover me. I'm not looking forward to organizing all of these cards. I will probably have to buy more boxes to put all my cards in. I've got so far like 5 nearly full boxes, and I've got just 1 extra. So, ooh. Here's our Fractal. Finally get to see what it looks like. It is a 0/0. It's a cool looking diamondy snake creature. Alright, Prismari Campus we've seen before. Quandrix Pledge Major we've seen before. Here's a new card. Here's a new card. Here's one we've seen before, but I like it a lot. Alright. Prismari Campus we've seen before. Quandrix Pledge Major we've seen before. Combat Professor we've seen before. I think that's all we've seen before so far. So, make your mark costs either a red or a white, your choice. It says target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. This is another way to get those spirits out there. It's an instant card. Granted, also, it's only if your creature dies that's attacking. It's whatever. It's hit or miss. Leech Fanatic, 1 and a black human warlock creature. It's a 2/2. As long as it's your turn, Leech Fanatic has lifelink. Okay, so if you're blocking, it's not going to give you life. But if you're attacking, it will. Combat Professor, we've seen the Bird Cleric, who does great stuff. Soothsayer Adept, 1 and a blue. Merfolk Wizard, 1/3. Says, if you pay 1 and a blue, and tap it, you draw a card, then discard a card. I don't slow play that well. I don't have the patience for it. Pillar Drop Warden, 3 and a red for a spirit dwarf creature. It's a 1/5. It's got reach. It's a big boy. Big boy dwarf. You can pay 2 and tap it, sacrifice Pillar Drop Warden, and return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only as a sorcery. So you can't do something like, this creature's going to die, you've gone to block it, or, whatever. Instead, I'll just pay this, I'll sacrifice it, boom. Nope, you can only do it as a sorcery. I don't like that part. The Scurrid Colony, the squirrel creatures, 2/2 for 2, 1 and a green. It's got reach. What? They're squirrels. How do they have reach? Scurrid Colony gets +2/+2 as long as you control 8 or more lands. I guess they're climbing in the trees? Is that how they reach? I mean, they're squirrels. Whatever. Right. Introduction to Prophecy. Scry 2, then draw a card. We might have had this, I'm not sure. It's 3 colorless mana. Plumb the Forbidden. 1 and a black instant card. As an additional cost to cast this spell, I hate those words, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy this spell for each creature sacrificed this way. And here's what the spell does. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Not worth it, in my opinion. Not worth it. Not unless you are just digging like crazy for something that'll help you. And legendary creature. Ooh. Ooh. How did this? Oh, it's a foil. Alright, let's get the foil out of the way first. It's shiny. It sparkles. It's a common. It's the Eureka moment. Draw 2 cards. It's 2, a green and a blue. Draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, it's a common. Alright, getting into the uncommons. Killian, Ink Duelist. It's a legendary creature, 1 white and 1 black. That's it. 2/2 for 2. It's got lifelink. It's got menace. And spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. Woo! I like that one. I like it. That's a commander right there. If I haven't seen him, that's a. What is black white? Does that even have anything? No. Oh yeah, silver quill. Yeah, that does seem silver quilling. All right, this one looks pretty nice. It's uncommon still. Damogoth, Woe Eater. 1, a black, a green, and a hybrid black-green. So either. It's a demon. 7/6. So a 7/6 for 4. Witherbloom. Oh, he is so going in my deck. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. When you sacrifice Damogoth Woe Eater, each opponent discards a card, you draw a card, and you gain 2 life. So you get rid of one of their cards, you lose a card, but you gain a card, you gain 2 life. That's when you get rid of him. But you're always having to sacrifice a creature at the beginning of your upkeep, basically until you get rid of him. But he's a 7/6 for 4. Woo, that's a toughie. We'll see if he ends up in my deck. Alright, Callous Blood Mage, a Vampire Warlock. It's a 2/1 for 2 and a black. It says when Callous Blood Mage enters the battlefield, choose 1. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. We know about that. Or you draw a card and you lose a life. Or exile target player's graveyard. Ugh. That again, that is just mean. It's really effective, but it's mean. Alright, and our rare card, Electrolyze. This is an instant for 1, a blue, and a red. Electrolyze deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets, and you draw a card. So it's like a weaker shock plus card draw. Cool art. It's not super expensive, so I guess. Yet another. Sorry, I'm reading what it says it contains. I was hoping that for once they actually like, hey, guess what? You can enter this code and get all sorts of fun stuff on the Arena. Because I haven't played Arena in quite a while because of its limitations, and because like all my decks are retired now. Because I've been buying real cards instead of buying. Oh. Treasure token. Also, advertisement for Secret Lair. Go to secretlair.wizards.com. I just heard about this yesterday or today. Hey, you remember that foil common we just saw? Let's pull out the non-foil common version of it. Big play. I look at some of these cards and I'm like, you know what? I liked cards from before. Some of them are just trickier. So, Yuri Komomo we've seen before. Lorehold Campus, it's the same as all the other ones, except it's red and white. Let's see. Biomathematician. 1, a green, and a blue for a human wizard. That is a 2/2. When Biomathematician enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a +1/+1 counter on each fractal you control. So this is really helpful if you've already got some fractals going on. Because they automatically get a +1/+1. So just the one that comes with them is a +1/+1. But the others, you could be higher. Resculpt. 1 and a blue instant. Exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. You better be exiling something good if you're going to give him a 4/4. Heated Debate. Instant card, 2 and a red. This spell cannot be countered. This includes by the ward ability. So that might be what ward does. I don't know. Heated Debate deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So it's like a fireball. Since you can't counter. Big play we've seen before. Novice Dissector. I think we've seen this one before. Or we've seen something like a 3 and a black. Troll Warlock creature 3/3. Sacrifice, pay 1, sacrifice another creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Right. Beaming Defiance, 1 and a white instant. Says target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Hexproof is so good. Doesn't help me in my Witherbloom deck, but oh well. Vortex Runner, 2 and a blue for a 2/3 human wizard creature. As long as you control 8 or more lands, Vortex Runner gets +1/+0 and cannot be blocked. There's a creature in either Zendikar Rising or Call Time. I think it was Zendikar Rising. That was a rogue that had this cannot be blocked sort of thing, so just get in there and just chip away at you. Be really annoying. Alright, Inkling Summoning. This is a lesson card, a sorcery. 1 and then 2 hybrid black-white mana. Create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature with flying. Creature token with flying. Like the Inklings. Want more of them. Want more ways to see them. Haven't gotten to see much of the way of Inkling creation so far. I'm still wanting to know about those lessons, though. Can you use that in Commander? Alright, Containment Breach. I feel like I've seen this before. 2 and a green, sorcery lesson card, another one. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So, artifact enchantment removal. If its mana value is 2 or less, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. So if you're killing something small, really small, but this could be nice, you know, get rid of some things like Soul Ring or some things that are giving you some mana ramp. That can be nice. Show of Confidence. 1 and a white instant. It says when you cast the spell, copy it for each other instant or sorcery spell you've cast this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. Yowzas. But what it actually does is put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains vigilance until end of turn. Interesting. It's an instant, but it really wants you to cast it at about sorcery speed. I don't know about that one. Alright, Maelstrom Muse. This is a Djinn Wizard 2/4 for 1, a blue, a red, and a hybrid blue or red. This has flying. When Maelstrom Muse attacks, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is Maelstrom Muse's power as this ability resolves. What does that even mean? My nose itches. Okay. So if you've been able to pump Maelstrom Muse before attacking, or any round really, but before you attack, the next time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, which has to be this turn, but it can cost you less. It could be free. You could cast free cards. Well, not necessarily true. No, you can cast free colorless cards, I guess. Alright, Strategic Planning. 1 and a blue, sorcery card. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Yeah. It's a scribe plus draw. Right. Uvilda, Dean of Perfection. 2 and a blue. Legendary creature, Djinn Wizard, 2/2. It says, tap it. You may exile an instant or sorcery card from your hand and put 3 home counters on it. It gains, at the beginning of your upkeep, if this card is exiled, remove a home counter from it, and when the last home counter is removed from this card, if it's exiled, you may cast it. It costs 4 colorless less to cast this way. So honestly, I only care about doing that if I've got large, expensive spells. You still have to pay the casting cost, but they can cast, you do 4 blue and a red, and then it costs a blue and a red. That's not bad. And you cast it on your upkeep. which is interesting. Kind of wonder, does that only work for instants? Or does it just ignore the sorcery rule? My nose itches. Quite badly. Gotta love allergies. Alright, it's another useless card. Relic Sloth. I just like the Relic Sloth. It's just fun. Ooh, that's a cool looking card. Alright. Stonebound Mentor 1, a red and white. Spirit Advisor creature. It's a 3/3. It says when one or more cards leave your graveyard, scry 1. Biblioplex Assistant we have seen. Relic Sloth we've seen. Burying Books, instant for 4 and a blue. It's a 5-mana instant. This again would work well with that legendary creature. It would have cost you 2. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Put target creature into its owner's library second from the top. So you're removing it, and you're not letting them get it back the next turn. That's kind of cool. I like it better than return it to its owner's hand or the top of the library. For this cost, it should be the bottom of the freaking library. Alright. Blood Age General, 1 and a red. Spirit Warrior, 2/2. Tap it, attacking spirits get a +1/+0 until end of turn. Whatever. Leyline Invocation, it's a sorcery for 5 and a green. Yeesh. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of lands you control. I guess there's a reason why this is such an expensive card, is because you want to have a lot of lands to make it worth anything. Crushing Disappointment we've seen. Beaming Defiance we've seen as well. I love that Hexproof. Vortex Runner we've seen. And then Elemental Summoning, 3, and then 2 blue-red hybrid. It's a lesson. Sorcerer card. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. So a 4/4 for 5, 4/4 token for 5. But it's a lesson, so it doesn't have to be in your deck. It can be coming from outside of the game. Does that work in Commander, though? Get some uncommons and rares going on here. Ooh, 2 rares. And one's fancy. Alright. Explosive Welcome. Big, expensive instant card. 7 and a red. Explosive Welcome deals 5 damage to any target and 3 damage to any other target. Add 3 red mana. So this is interesting. So it's going to cost you 8 up front. Dealing 5 damage to one target, which could be the opponent. Could be a planeswalker, could be a creature. And then 3 damage to another opponent, or to another target. If you're playing Commander, it could be to 2 different opponents. It could be, here and here, however you want to go with that. And then at the end, you get 3 mana back that you get to use, probably just that turn. That would make sense. All right, then we've got Expressive Iteration, red and a blue, sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand, put 1 on the bottom of your library, and exile 1 of them. You may play the exiled card this turn. Okay. It's overcomplicated. Overcomplicated. I guess you're exiling it. You may play it, you don't have to. I would say the one I care about the least gets the bottom of the library. Alright, Mercurial Transformation, 1 in a blue, lesson, sorcery. Until the end of turn, target non-land permanent loses all abilities and becomes your choice of a blue frog creature with base power and toughness of 1/1, or a blue octopus creature with base power and toughness 4/4. But it's only until end of turn. So I guess if you kill it that turn as a 1/1 or a 4/4, why would you ever make it a 4/4? If you, unless you have spells that kill 4 things over. If you kill it, it's dead. It's not coming back. Here, we got 2 rares this one. One with some fancy art. Regrowth, 1 and a green. Sorcery card, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Graveyard recursion in green. Who knew? And then Fury Calm Snarl. That's a whole lot of just oxymorons going on there. This is a rare land, red-white. As Fury Calm Snarl enters the battlefield, you may reveal a mountain or plains card from your hand. If you don't, Fury Calm Snarl enters the battlefield tapped. And then get your red and your white mana. That's dumb. That's just making your land cards way more complicated than they need to be. Spirit Token. Moldering Karak, we've seen, I believe, unless it was a different Karak. I'll read it anyway. I wish there was just a little more area here where I could show you. I just put all 5 down, but I can't. All right, Moldering Karak, 2 a blue or 2 a black and a green. Trample, Life Link, Zombie Crocodile. It's a 3/3. So I don't think we had a different Karak, I think. All right, Campus Guide is a Golem artifact creature, 2/1 for 2, colorless. It says when Campus Guide enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle, and put that card on top. Witherbloom Pledge Mage, 3, and then 2 black-green hybrids. This is a Tree Folk Warlock. It's a 5/5, so it's 5/5 for 5 with Magecraft. Not bad. You gain a life whenever you cast your instant or sorcery or copy, etc. Blood Researcher. Creature, Vampire Druid. 2/2 for 1 a black and a green with Menace. And whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Researcher. So it's pretty nice for a life gain. That can quickly make this thing nasty. Then Arrogant Poet, 1 and a black, 2/1 human warlock. Whenever Arrogant Poet attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gains flying until end of turn. Stonerise Spirit, 1 and a white. 1/2 Spirit Bird creature. It's got flying because it's a bird. It's a bird. You can pay 4 and exile a card from your graveyard. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. Okay, not the card you are exiling, but a target creature gains flying until end of turn. Frost Trickster, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 bird wizard. Flying. When Frost Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Nice. Like those cards. First day of class, 1 and a red, instant. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn. And you can learn. Learn's a really good way to never get down to 1 card. to never have to top deck. You know, oh, boom, learn. You just gotta have those lesson cards. Alright, charge through. It is an instant for a single green. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. Draw a card. That could be real nasty. I mean, Witherbloom Pledge Mage, or a pumped up Vampire Druid with Menace, and you're giving it trample until the end of turn, and you're drawing a card for a single mana? I'm all about that. Right. Teachings of the Archaics. 2 and a blue. This is a sorcery lesson card. If an opponent has 2 more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards. Draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least 4 more cards in hand than you. So it's a card draw. As you know, you're down cards from people. This is the way to get back in. You know, I'm a fan of that card. And it's a lesson card, so it can come from nowhere. Alright, here. Alright. He's not shiny. Alright. Hall Monitor. Ugh, gross. Single red, Lizard Shaman, creature, 1/1, 1/1 for 1, with haste. He's a hasty Hall Monitor. You can also pay 1 and a red, so you can pay 1 more mana than what he normally costs, and you can tap him. Target creature can't block this turn. So he can, I mean, you get him out first round, he can just poke, and then pretty much you're just using him to, like, stop your opponents from letting other things through. You've got Zephyr Boots, which is an artifact equipment for 1 colorless mana. Equipped creature has flying. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. And it costs 2 to equip. It really costs like 3. I like that though. Gives you flying, draw a card, discard a card, you know, keep your deck keep your hand balanced how you want it to be. But then we have the Wormhole Serpent, 4 and a blue for a serpent creature. It's a 3/5. You can pay 3 and a blue, and target creature can't be blocked this turn. So, interesting, maybe because it's 3/5, but it costs 4 mana, where it does. Oh, it does. It's actually doing the opposite of the Hall Monitor. Your target creature can't be blocked this turn. So it could be this, it could be something else. Nice. Divine Gambit we've seen before, but we saw it in a shiny foil. Dragon Guard Elite. Wait a second. Wait a tick. Shoot, I did not put it. Yeah. That's the rare version. That's the promotional version. It is the same thing. But the... I don't actually know which one I like better. Anyways. What this says, it's got Magecraft, so you'll do a +1/+1 counter on Dragon Guard Elite, and then you can pay 6 mana to double the number of +1/+1 counters on Dragon Guard Elite. You can make this a big old beefy card. Alright. I think I'm going to be doing this as a 2-part stream. It's already been 2 hours and 40 minutes of streaming. Granted, there was the time that I wasn't doing much, but it's also 7:45 where I live at night. I have not eaten dinner, nor have I gotten anything ready for tomorrow for work. I'm not saying anything. So I will open a couple more packs, and I think I'm going to call it a night, and we will pick this back up probably Wednesday, because tomorrow is D&D day. Lots of D&D tomorrow. I will be probably streaming Dungeons & Dragons tomorrow, though. So, and I think I'll stream it here on YouTube instead of over on Twitch, just because I can. All right. Anyway, let's go to this deck. Hey, Eureka. More packs we open, the more repeats we're going to get. I want to see a... Remember old like sports trading cards and stuff would have checklists. Like, here's all the cards in the list. I want to see that for here. I'm sure there's websites that do it, but just have a card that just shows it. Right, infused with vitality, black and a green. Until end of turn, target creature gains death touch, and when he dies, okay, we've seen this before, you gain 2 life. When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped. It's a great card. I like that one. Greekmon we've seen a lot. Lorehold we've seen a lot. Pigment Storm, interesting. Sorcery card, 3 and 2 reds. Pigment Storm deals 5 damage to target creature. Excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. Wow. So it's like spell damage with trample. That's kind of cool. Tangle Trap we have seen. Spectre of the Fens, 3 and a black. It is a Spectre creature. It's a 2/3. It's got flying. You can pay 5 and a black, and target opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So life draw, life gain. Stonerise Spirit we have seen before. Frost Trickster, 2 and a blue. A bird wizard. It's a 2/2 for 3. It's got flying. When Frost Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So we've seen something like this. Expanded Anatomy we've seen. Decisive Denial. Choose one. This is a instant green and a blue. So choose one. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Or counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3. Excuse me. I do like this. So it's a counter spell with caveat. So as long as that person's casting spell doesn't have that mana open, it's a good counter spell. I like when they have to pay 3 or more as opposed to just paying 2. I like that better than the creature fighting creature. But my first decks were horrible, mean blue decks. Alright, let's get into the important cards with the pack. Oh ho ho! I like that a lot. Ooh, this is a nice deck. Or a nice pack we got here. Alright, so we have got a legendary creature. Dina Soul Steeper. Costs a green and a black. It is a Dryad Druid. So I can try saying that 5 times fast. We have 1/3. And it says, whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. You can pay 1 and sacrifice another creature. Dina Soul Steeper gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. This is good for that life gain, life loss stuff that Wither Bloom's all about. Right. Instant card, divide by 0, 2 and a blue. Return target spell or permanent with mana value 1 or greater to its owner's hand. So unless it's a 0 mana, yeah. So you could use this as a counter spell. Oh my. If I'm reading this correctly, you could basically use this as a counter spell. Or removal. And it's got the learn mechanic on top of it. Wow. I'm going to come back to this one in a second. Real quick. Whirlwind Denial, 2 and a blue, instant. For each spell and ability your opponent controls, counter it unless its controller pays 4. Wow. Yeah, this is a counter spell for. This is what I like to see. I'm still not going back to this one. Going to our rare card. This is a legendary creature, Bird Cleric, Shale, Dean of Radiance. It is a 1/1 for 1 and a white, flying in vigilance, and you can tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. We've seen this card, but it's shiny. But now, this is actually requiring me to bring my flight deck back out here, because this is the first Planeswalker we have seen in Strixhaven. This is Kasmina Enigma Sage. And I'm pretty sure this says she costs 1 a green and a blue to cast, but her scythe is covering over the 1. Legendary Planeswalker. And it says each other Planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kasmina Enigma Sage. Wow. So you're basically creating a copy of her. You can +2 her and scry 1. Okay. It's enough to... You're wanting to get up. -X. Create a 0/0 creature, green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it. So if you've got a fractal deck, that's kind of the way to go with this. And then you have it's -8 ability. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card that shares a color with this Planeswalker, so green or blue. Exile that card, then shuffle. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. That's not the best, ultimate I've seen on many Planeswalkers. Unless you have something in green or blue that is an instant or sorcery card that is just monstrous. That's a game. If it's a game-ending card, then yes. Awesome -8 ability. If it's not a game-ending card, I don't know how worth it is. And especially because each other Planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of her. Unless you're playing a very Planeswalker-y deck, I don't know when you're going to be having that many Planeswalkers out at once. Alright, this is going to be our last deck of the evening. Also, when I say it won't be tomorrow because of D&D and work, etc., it won't be Tuesday because I have 2 jobs on Tuesday. So it'll be Wednesday. Elemental creature token. Alright, let's get out with some green, black land, some Witherbloom land. Come on. Trying to get this to focus a little better. Still have not got any of my Elder Dragons. Makes me sad. Haven't got nearly as many legendary creatures as I would like, because I like them. Alright, Witherbloom Campus, same thing we've seen before, but for green and black. Cram Session, 1 and then a black or green. You gain, it's a sorcery card. You gain 4 life and you learn. Pretty simple. Elemental Masterpiece, 5, a blue and a red. It's a sorcery card. It says create 2 4/4 blue and red elemental creature tokens. You may also pay 2 hybrid red-blue. Discard Elemental Masterpiece, create a treasure token, which adds mana. So, little ramp, some tokens, 7 mana. Don't know how worth it really is. Heated Debate we have seen before. This is our big boomy card. Spring Main Servant. This is an elk creature it's a 3/2 for 2 and a green. It says when Spring Main Servant enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. Elks like to give life. Spectre of the Fens, I believe we've seen before. 3 and a black, flying creature, Target opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life if you pay 6 mana. So 2/3. Ageless Guardian, 1 and a white. It's a 1/4 creature. That's it. Resculpt we've seen before. Pest Summoning we've seen before. Mortality Spear. An instant for 2 and a black and a green. It says this spell costs 2 less to cast if you gained life this turn. What it does is it destroys target non-land permanent. So it could cost you 2 mana to destroy a non-land permanent. Dig it. And it's in Witherbloom, so double dig it. I will say, Witherbloom will be the first time I am playing black. And I don't know. I worry about black sometimes. That color of card is... Just do that. Alright, Silver Cool Campus, foil, common card, but... Okay, interesting. Yeah, whatever. Team Pennant, equipment, 1 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance and trample. Yeah. Equip creature token for 1. So you put it on a token, it only costs 1 to equip it. Put it on a regular creature, it costs 3 to equip it. I don't know. There's some tokens out there that can get monstrous, and wow, this could be. There's no Sword of Feast and Famine, but. Right. Overgrown Arch, an uncommon card, 1 and a green. This is a plant wall creature, 0/4. It is Defender, has Defender. Cannot attack. Tap it, you gain a life. Pay 2, you can sacrifice Overgrown Arch and learn. What a horrible... Just use it as a defender. Don't tap it, unless you're desperate, don't use it to gain that life, just use it as a blocker. Don't sacrifice. If it's dying, then sacrifice it, I guess. But... Alright, Claim the Firstborn, 1 red. This is a cool looking card. There's some weirdness going on there. It's a sorcery card. Gain control of target creature with mana value 3 or less until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. So, take it, attack with it. It's not yours anymore. Rare card. Vanishing Verse, white and a black. This is an instant. Exile target monocolored permanent. Oh. That could be land. That could be land. Could be an artifact, a creature and artifact equipment, a land, an enchantment. Did I say enchantment? I don't know. Can't be an instant or sorcery. But, Mamma Mia. Alright. That has been a lot of Magic cards to go through. This has been nearly a 3-hour stream. I'm not going to do that. So, I'm not technically halfway through. There's 5 packs. There's 5 more. There's 5 more. There's another 5. So there's 20 packs and 2. 22 draft boosters left to open. How's there 22? That means we've only opened up 14? Yowzers. Oh, well. Hopefully Wednesday we will finish this up. That's a lot of time. I'll just have to start the stream early and probably eat through the stream. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned a bit about Strixhaven and what cards are in there. There's obviously more cards to come. a lot more cards to come. By the way, just to give you an idea, I'm going to hold this up to the face cam. This is what we've unboxed so far. 14 decks. Let's see if I can... I can't math this quickly enough in my brain. Hold on. 210 cards right there. So... now I want to know how... what's 22 times 15? 330 cards left to go. And the more we open, the more repeats we're going to have. But, hey, also the chance for awesomeness. Yeah, if you like this, go support your local game shops. Go buy cards. Go to cardkingdom.com. That's a great place to go. TCG Market as well. I do not have any sort of affiliate links with any of these places, but this is where I look at a lot of stuff. I have got a super rare card that I got in an overly expensive pack or box. Heck, why not? I'm ending this stream my way. Let's move this Strixhaven stuff out of the way. I have a Jace the Mind Sculptor Planeswalker card. Legendary Planeswalker from Double Masters VIP box. Autofocus does not like the card sleeve it's in. This is a card that is super duper rare. This is the full art card. It's borderless. It's foil. It goes on Card Kingdom for like $116. I was offered like $50 for this at the game store when I went and picked up my Strixhaven stuff. I was going to there. I was like, hey, maybe I'm not going to get that much, but I should be able to get decent. I was kind of sold. I'm looking at eBay, and they're going for $100. There's no need to try to cheat you. They're going to turn around and sell it for $120. But this is something I might be trying to see if I'm about selling it on Card Kingdom or selling it on eBay. Because it's not going to do me much good for things that I want to do. It's a nasty card if you can pull off its ultimate. So I'll just read you what this card does. So, plus to it, look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that card on the bottom of that player's library. It's kind of annoying. It's blue. It's Jace. That's par for the course. You're 0. So pay nothing. Doesn't put your loyalty up or down. Draw 3 cards. Then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. So you can reshuffle kind of what you've got going on. -1 ability. Return target creature to its owner's hand. So temporary creature removal. But then there's the big one, the -12 ability. So you've got to have this thing on. You don't play this Jace until you've got plenty of blockers for it, and until you have counter spells to protect it. But it's -12 ability if you can get it up there. Exile all cards from target player's library. Then that player shuffles their hand into their library. This is an automatic win card. Or this ability is an automatic win ability. Exaggeration. Take your entire library, put it into your graveyard. take your hand, shuffle it, put it into your library. 1. You have no cards in hand. You are now top decking. However many cards you had in hand, which could be 1, could be all 7, could be 1. That's all that's in your library now. Those are all your answers. You know what all your answers are because they were in your hand. Once you draw that last card out of your library, you're done. Game over. So, it's good if you can get to it. It's probably a hard ultimate to get to. It's by far the most helpful thing on this. But yeah, I'm looking to sell this card and get a fair price for it. And I do not believe what the game store wanted to give me was fair whatsoever. Also, they don't understand what a standard booster box is. They gave me a draft booster box, which probably cost about $20 more. Yeah, the last time I was in there, I was looking for a D&D miniature. They're like, we don't have anything like that. They don't sell things like that. And I literally turned the corner and was sitting there staring them in the face. That would be this. I cannot remember her name, but it is a Sphinx. It is actually a Magic the Gathering character from probably a legendary creature, Magic the Gathering Sphinx. I want to say it's from Ravnica. Seems like it would be a guild master in Ravnica. But, yeah, they're like, we don't have that. They don't make that. I'm like, no, seriously, I've seen it on the WizKids YouTube channel. Yeah, I found it. So, they're somewhat clueless at times. Anyways, if you've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed this. And I will see you guys next time. Hopefully Wednesday. If not, then probably Friday. I'd love to be able to do these things more often every day, but I'm a busy, busy boy. But until that time, guys, enjoy, play some Magic, play more games. I don't want to steal a bunch of people's catchphrases. Sorry, Day Night. Sorry, Will Wheaton. But, yeah. Going to have some interesting things coming up, I think, with some Magic. Yeah. But, yep, until then, guys,